You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 204. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Spencer Valadez.
Comic Reflections is brought to you by the Outhousers. You can find Comic Reflections and, well, just stuff at theouthousers.com. If you enjoy our show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher.
Yep.
So, today, Spencer and I, hey, it's been a couple weeks. We didn't record last week.
We didn't.
Because I was behind on the reading. Were you?
I wasn't.
Oh, you were good?
I
Okay,
was
good. I'm sorry, it's all me then.
Yep. All you.
Yes, but we're continuing our look at Showcase Presents Green Lantern Volume 3. And the first issue we're going to talk about today is Green Lantern number 45, which is the June of 1966 issue. And the story in this issue is called Prince Peril's Power Play, written by John Broome, penciled by Gil Kane, and inked by Sid Green.
It was. Right. So we start on the planet of Murg.
Yes, Murg.
Where Princess Rania is approached by her council people, and they tell her, hey, look, it's about time you get married. And if you don't, by Gorn Day, you're going to be set up with Prince Peril.
So Gorn Day, does that commemorate the fight with Captain Kirk and the Gorn on that planet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And she said, I'll have none of that. I'm going to, I've searched the whole planet. I got no one.
Wow, the whole planet?
Yeah. I'm going to go and find someone worthy to marry me.
Oh, that's nice.
And so she hears of, when she finds a planet, it's Earth.
Which Earth? Earth 1 or Earth 2? Where'd she go first?
Earth 1.
Wait, no. If she goes to the Earth with Alan Scott,
it's Earth 2.
It's Earth 2.
Yeah. She goes to Earth 2.
Even though the Golden Age came first, that should be Earth 1,
That's
right?
what always confuses me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really should be. But because, here's the thing. When the multiverse was invented, Earth 2, or excuse me, dang it, see, I just did it. They wanted the Earth that they used the most to be Earth 1.
Gotcha. I guess that also makes sense.
Because really, they don't refer to it unless somebody from the JSA is somehow involved in the story.
Right, yeah.
Otherwise, you never hear about Earth 2.
Which is a shame.
I know, right?
I would like to hear more about them.
Yeah.
You can, apparently.
What?
You could read other comics.
Yeah, there's lots of comics that refer to it, actually. But
yeah, so, Doiby Dickles is driving,
Goytrude.
Gosh,
I love Doiby Dickles. So he and Alan Scott are going to some thing.
Yeah, it's like a fancy, fundraiser or something.
Yeah.
And Alan Scott, leaves and goes and gets all, awarded.
Yeah. And
Doiby is left out by the car to, make it look nice next to all the fancy schmancy cars, is what he says. And Princess Rania lands and approaches Doiby and says, look, I'm reading your mind. It's all good. Oh, crap, you can read my mind. Doiby's being all Doiby.
He's thinking boobs, 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 boobs. No, but
if you look at him, it's probably what he's thinking.
Yeah, but I love Doiby Dickles.
Really?
I really do.
I just find him obnoxious.
You and I are gonna cosplay as Alan Scott and Doiby Dickles. Guess who gets to be Doiby?
I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna go to con.
Do you realize how ridiculous that would be if you dressed as Alan Scott and I was Doiby Dickles? No one would get what it is. I mean, maybe they would.
Nick is body shaming me right now.
No. I'm just thinking the inversion of that would be humorous. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's kind of my goal to make you feel bad at least once during every show.
Here's the thing. You didn't bat and you didn't wait. What? When was I? No. You guys were trying to paint me in that. No.
Also, Sean's here.
Oh yeah, Sean, our pal.
Here I am.
Rock you like a hurricane.
No, that's insensitive.
What?
Rocking people like a hurricane. You know how much damage that causes?
Oh my god. Okay, but here's the thing, Spencer. You did not bat an eye when I said, hey, why don't we go as Matter Eater Lad and Bouncing Boy? And clearly, you as bouncing boy, not a problem. Oh, I suggest you be Doiby Dickles. No. Okay. Anyway, let's just go.
Right. So, Princess Rainier has kind of explained herself to Doiby, and he is, like, love at first sight, like, falling for her.
Yeah.
Because she's a beautiful woman, and he's like, whoa, why are you talking to me?
Yeah, and he's an American who barely speaks English.
Right, yeah.
I mean, his manner of diction is just terrible.
Right. And so she's kind of letting him know, and Doiby says, look, it's about time for Alan Scott to, get married. I'm going to hook you up with him.
Yeah, because he can't think, like, no way. Me, I'm nobody.
Yeah. But as he realizes it, none other than Prince Peril shows up and grabs Princess Rainier and starts to try to grab her away. Doiby, like, runs to her rescue and just gets walloped.
Yeah, totally clobbered.
Yeah. Rainier at that time then sends out this, like, brain beam thing.
Yeah.
And, like, alerts Alan Scott. And, like, she explains that the only person who would be able to hear it is Alan Scott.
Right.
But she sends out, like, a mass, like, brainwave thing. And Alan hears, and he turns and runs to help his pal Doiby. And him and Prince Peril end up getting into a pretty big brawl.
Yeah.
And Prince Peril actually wins. He knocks out Alan Scott. But while they're fighting, Princess Rainier and Doiby were able to escape in Gertrude. But not only did they escape, she, like, transported them to a parallel universe, a parallel world.
Yeah.
And so they actually turn up.
My head already hurts.
Right. They turn up in Prince Peril's Power Play Part 2 on Earth 1.
Oh.
Yeah. But not far behind them is Prince Peril, and he immediately attacks Gertrude.
Who is Gertrude is flying through the air, by the way.
Right, yeah.
Why? How? Reasons.
Yeah. And so Doiby fires his Green Lantern flare that he uses to signal Alan Scott.
Which, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have not read a lot of Golden Age Green Lantern, or any, actually.
Yeah.
Let's just be perfectly honest. I don't think I have read... Oh, no. Maybe a little. But, I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know that's not a thing. It makes me think of the Fantastic Four sending out their flare to signal each other to... You know? But, of course, obviously this would have come earlier.
Yeah.
So, thanks. Go.
Right. And Green Lantern, or Hal Jordan, I should use proper names.
Would you?
Jordan,
especially because we have a pair of Green Lanterns.
Right. Hal Jordan is in one of his experimental jets and sees the flare and jumps out as Green Lantern.
What about the jet?
He put it on autopilot, and it'll land somewhere, and he'll come for it later.
Oh, okay.
Just because, he can do that.
Yeah. I don't think we ever refer back to that jet in the story.
We never get back to it.
Just left a jet somewhere.
Yeah. Multi-million-dollar jet is just sitting out on some field.
But the thing is, not anybody could just hop into it and fly away. So, it's kind of safe.
Yeah.
Ish.
Or they could crash it.
Yeah.
Come back and the wheels are gone, sitting on blocks.
Yeah. Those are U.S. tax dollars being spent on these planes.
It's a government contract,
so he's just leaving them around willy-nilly.
Yeah, this is an odd
There should probably
area.
be more oversight on that.
That's a weird
Hal Jordan
thing to get into. Okay.
Hal Jordan shows up and again, or another Green Lantern fights Prince Peril. And I think he's a little confused about it.
Did we talk about... Alan Scott fought him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It seems like we glossed over that really quickly.
We did. It wasn't a huge fight.
Yeah.
Prince Peril kind of...
Kicked his butt.
Yeah.
Okay.
not even using like any wood. He just with his sword
Yeah.
has like a power beam from it or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Green Lantern shows up and
And also just because, excuse me, just because Alan Scott's ring, the vulnerability is wood, doesn't mean you must use wood, and that's the
Right.
only way you can beat him.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
he's still a person who's fallible. So anyway.
His
Cool.
feelings and emotions.
Maybe
Thank
he
you,
should be
Sean.
better because he's a superhero.
Wow.
I'm just. I'm not. So Green Lantern. They're
Which
fighting.
one?
Hal Jordan and Prince Peril are fighting, and Prince Peril uses his sword and fires a power beam from it. Hal puts up a wall. But we find out that he didn't have a full charge on his ring. He didn't have time to go get it charged up.
Yeah. And
so
so it's
he's-
sputtering out.
Yeah. And so in one final push of will, he fires his power beam
And
or his power-
destroys,
and destroys the
Prince
sword.
Peril's sword.
Yeah.
By the way, Prince Peril has this awesome armor. He's a really huge dude.
Yeah.
He looks great.
He's much bigger than the average man.
Yeah.
But then Green Lantern and Hal Jordan and Prince Peril just start brawling, punching each other back and forth. But Prince Peril is definitely the stronger of the two,
Yeah.
and Green Lantern captures him in he gets one solid punch in and knocks him into like a jail cell.
Okay.
And Prince Peril just picks it up and hits Hal Jordan in the face with it.
Wow.
Yeah, and so, I mean, a normal person, it would have definitely killed.
Yeah.
And so Prince Peril drags Doiby and Princess Ramia away. And, I mean, Doiby's back, like, you're gonna get yours, buddy.
Yeah. That's not what he says, but yeah.
No. But he's basically saying, anyways.
So, one thing that happens in the third part of this story is Gil Kane just kind of shows up and explains some stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time I've read a comic story where Gil Kane... No, it's not the first Green Lantern one either.
No.
He's done it before. But he did this at Marvel, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to, like, get a face of the creator.
Okay.
You know...
I guess, yeah, because when these were coming out, you didn't have the internet.
You know, and here's the thing. In the
you know.
1960s, this is when comics fandom was becoming a thing. And so for a creator to, like, kind of pop into a story,
Right.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so...
For me, and it's something that I struggle with, I mean, I've mentioned it a few times, but the constant over-explanation.
Oh, in these stories?
In the Silver Age.
But you have to remember, it's so much of, like, you may not get the next issue, and any issue may be your first.
Right, yeah, no,
So-
and I appreciate that. Even today, I appreciate that. Like, I would love to be able to just jump into a comic book and
Yeah.
read it, but it's a little tedious for me. And
Sure.
so seeing him pop in, I'm like, oh, it's going to be one of those stories where it's going to be a lot of over-explanation. But
Especially, I feel like, especially with DC, there's a lot of exposition. I mean, yeah.
yeah, you're right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, even compared to our team-up book, the supervillain team-up book that we do.
yeah, where we're doing the Namor and Doctor Doom.
Right.
Yeah, not as much in the caption boxes and dialogue is shorter. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so Doiby is forcibly dressed as a
Court jester.
court jester. That's right.
And boy, does he looked the part.
Yeah. And so the explanation we get from our pal Gil.
Our pal Gil.
Uh,
Gil Kane.
yeah.
I don't know him personally,
Well,
and he's no longer living.
so we can call him that.
Not really. I think that's inappropriate.
Really?
Yeah, really. Our pal?
Why not?
What? I never met the man.
Seems like a pal. He's
Anyway,
writing directly to us.
whatever Gil Kane is explaining.
He's explaining that although Green Lantern had run out of power in his ring,
Yeah.
there's a standing order for the ring to reserve some kind of power.
Oh yeah.
To save him.
Now that will come into play later.
Right.
But yes, there is a emergency reserve power.
Right. And so, even before he's killed, it'll activate and protect him from whatever's going to kill him.
Word.
And so, although he was knocked out, he wakes up and is fine. And he goes and immediately charges his power ring. And he gets in contact with Alan Scott.
Yay.
And they're like, hey, we need to figure this out. One, Doiby's gone, and this girl's in trouble. We need to figure it out.
Yep.
And so, Cameron. Oh, right. They follow the radiation trail. Because, of course, they follow the radiation trail.
Yep.
They follow him back to Merg. And there's an all-out just... the two Green Lanterns are in this full-page splash.
Yes.
Just
yes,
laying to waste all these men and machines on Merg.
Everyone they're attacking has this wide-eyed look
Yeah.
as they're
Even
running
Prince
away.
Peril.
Prince Peril looks like, I don't know what's happening to him. It looks like crazy.
Yeah. Both feet are up in the air, and he's
Yeah.
just like, he's lost it. And thus this overwhelming victory, our story just about comes to close.
So Gil Kane in the epilogue explains to us a little more about what's happening, and
He
Princess
looks so boss in this panel.
He does.
Foot up on the chair, like,
Yeah.
hey guys. See, he's a pal.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It turns out that Princess Raimia ends up marrying
Doiby
Doiby
Dickles.
Dickles. Because throughout the whole story, he's been the one that's kind of whisked her away to safety.
Yeah.
Even though the Green Lanterns did
We're
all
doing
the
all
heavy
the
lifting.
heavy. I was gonna say did all the heavy lifting. That's very funny.
Yeah. But, yeah. And there's hearts everywhere. But he's like, he then compares her in his mind to Gertrude.
Which is so weird,
Yeah.
but he has this deep connection with that car.
Right. He's like,
Crazy.
Gertrude is the most beautiful car in the world, but nothing compares to you, my dear. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever stuff. So, let's move on to the next issue that we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And this has a distinction of, well, okay, I think that I'll just give the craze and we'll get into it.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Green Lantern number 46, which is the July of 1966 issue. The lead story is called The Jailing of Hal Jordan, written by Gardner Fox, penciled by Gil Kane,
Right.
and inked by Sid Green.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was. So, I'm sorry, I'm just remembering this. It's been a week since I read it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
So, we start off in the bank, because...
Banking.
Yeah. And these three gentlemen are robbing the place.
Are they gentlemen?
Well,
These three robbers.
they're dressed as gentlemen.
Okay. I'm not going to split hairs about this.
These three guys are robbing a bank, or four guys. Sorry, four guys are robbing a bank. As three of them run out, they're immediately engulfed in green light, and they can't escape the light. And it turns out that Green Lantern has put extra security on all the banks in town, and if anyone breaks in, first they're going to be captured, and then Green Lantern, there's an alarm that goes off with the ring, and Hal Jordan's going to be able to, a bank's being robbed, and immediately go pick these guys up. Fortunately for one of the guys, he stayed back to get more money in his bag, and so he sees this all go down, and he escapes through the back door, which, why Green Lantern didn't cover it, I don't know. But, yeah. When the alarm goes off, though, Hal Jordan's at a hip dance party with Carol. And the ring starts like glowing bright green on his hand, and he's like, "Oh crap! I gotta go do a thing."
I have diarrhea.
Yeah, basically, and runs out.
You had to go there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be my excuse. And they'd be like, "Oh, go!"
Who just says I have diarrhea and just gotta go?
Would you question that person?
No, but I wouldn't expect someone to say like, "Look, I got a diarrhea. I gotta get out of here." Like
That's just the type of person, though.
Hal
You
Jordan.
could well, not necessarily Hal Jordan, but you could fashion
I mean,
yourself around that idea.
It's a good excuse for a superhero having like IBS or something.
Oh my
Ooh,
god!
Captain IBS.
Yeah,
Here's the thing.
I mean,
He gives people IBS.
don't you think this is
It's like-
crazy?
It's like they ate a bunch of Indian food.
Oh
and
wait,
they're
no,
like,
no,
God.
wait. There's a character that does that. Spider Jerusalem from Transmetropolitan. He has a bowel disruptor gun that makes people
Awesome.
poop their pants.
The brown note.
Yeah, I guess.
Excellent.
But anyway, this is so nuts.
What if Green Lantern
What
did
if
that with his ring?
what if Hal used the ring to keep himself from getting diarrhea?
I
Maybe.
mean, he could.
Right?
It can do anything, apparently.
Yeah,
Wow.
like force someone to have diarrhea.
Gosh, that's so
He
messed
like-
up.
memory wipes people left and right.
Maybe he could use it to get in their heads, and then it just like triggers the body's like, this needs to come out of me now.
There's
You're saying
no-
a side effect of having him read their minds with the
No,
ring?
I'm
No.
saying he could actively do that to their minds, so it triggers the involuntary response of the body to get whatever it is out of their bowels.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
See, we should have been writing these stories way back in the day.
Absolutely.
In the 60s, I'm sure they would have... Diarrhea stories would have gone over big.
Another
time.
diarrhea stories guy? Really? This is the fourth one in a row you tried to get by me.
They're good.
Just like our stories, they're gonna force their way through.
Look, you can just imagine, like... I mean, Julie Schwartz was the editor on this book, but I remember, like...
Science! We enjoy the science! The science!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the science. Oh
Yeah,
yes,
put the
you
Bam! We
science
get our with diarrhea with science.
Yeah.
Bam!
he was a sucker for science. You can just throw a bit of little science in there, and
Oh,
Julie
it's a
Schwartz.
science story, but it's about diarrhea.
This is treading new ground.
Oh my god! Although I have a feeling diarrhea might not pass the comics code. Although technically it's not in the provisions of the code. I've read it.
I mean,
It's a natural body function.
speak where the code speaks. Sign where the code is signed.
Wow. Wow.
That is a quandary. What do you think, dear listener?
This is nuts.
Would this pass comic code?
Would you read a diarrhea story?
Only if Green Lantern's in it.
Right.
That just makes it even
The
weirder.
diarrhea dream. Green Lantern. Ugh.
The diarrhea.
Oh, that would be a good superhero name. The
Yeah,
diarrhea
diarrhea
dream.
dream.
And when Pieface writes these in the Green Lantern case book, this could be like the subset, like the Diarrhea Diaries.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Once every couple months, you get a diarrhea story.
This is
It's
so
like real
bad.
life. See, the reader can connect with that.
Oh,
The lack of control in their life, particularly with their bowels in certain instances.
Oh my god.
People are probably already reading a lot of these on the toilet, anyways.
Yeah.
That's true.
They're like, oh my god, this is exactly what I'm going through in my life right now.
We're
Wow.
covering all bases. This is excellent.
This is
Yeah,
such a good show. We're doing so well.
Oh my god. We really need to move on.
I'm
So the
That's like 5 minutes of diarrhea. Like, at least.
Well, in life, that's not really that bad if it's just 5 minutes.
yeah, 5 minutes and it's over.
Well, now that you put it into that context, I
Right?
mean,
We need to keep going with this until
oh my god.
it's all done.
Ah! Oh.
Right. So the three other bank robbers caught in
Jesus.
the green lights of
Wait,
Green
wait, wait,
Lantern
wait, wait.
Oh my god. Yes.
are like there's like one is like fallen over, but he's like not on the ground. He's kind of floating. Hal Jordan shows up, kind of gives him a little walloping a little bit, but then they start like grabbing the light and like forming it into little like light balls and like throwing them at Green Lantern.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, I don't understand how
Yes.
that happened.
Yeah, that's just strangeness.
And And so
sometimes you can just chalk up like, oh right, Silver Age, it's crazy.
right. So continuing the craziness of the story, he
my
then
God, stop.
like the light balls are bouncing off of him, and he fires his power beam and like puts skateboards on all of their shoes, and they go like careening off. Like one falls into a lamppost, the other into a wall.
Yeah, and then they start shooting their guns at him, and then
Yeah.
he just makes them huge.
Yeah,
Like too big to carry.
yeah, and then like creates a giant pigeon to fly them off to jail.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
The entire time, the third member of the bank robbers, or the fourth member, is like watching this all play out, and he's like, "Oh, glad I'm not that guy," and just kind of like returns home like it was no big deal with his like, I think he had like $50,000. But then it turns out he gets a letter from a lawyer that says, his name was Pete Claypool. Pete gets a letter from his lawyer that says, "Hey, come to my office. You got a thing." And it turns out his like extremely wealthy uncle left him all of his like $500,000 in like an estate.
Yeah.
And so he's like, $50,000. What do I need this for? And like chucks it. Like
He
gets
doesn't
rid of
really
it.
chuck it. He's like, what? How am I going to get rid of it? That's important.
Oh right,
Clearly, this guy hasn't heard of money laundering.
right.
I mean, duh.
And if you have, if everyone finds out that you're the sole heir to this $500,000 and an estate,
Yeah.
no one's gonna like bat an eye at the fact that you have $50,000.
Right. I think he's
And you're
saying
paying
like
cash and
they
things.
might be marked bills or something. I think that might be
Oh,
an issue.
okay.
But again, money laundering. You can take care of that.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and if this guy's a career criminal, like, duh. Like,
Yeah. So he goes down, he hides it, and he then finds out that he has a boat, and he throws a party, and he sees Carol for the first time, walking around with Hal Jordan, and he's like, "Well, I can have anything. I want her."
Even a
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
even a
And so he
person-
hires like two thugs to like corner Hal and get rid of him. Like not kill him, sorry, but to like send him a message that, hey, you need to stay away from Carol.
Yeah.
There's someone else interested in you now.
And this guy, and Hal's like, I'm not going to stay away from Carol for nothing.
Yeah.
Good for you, Hal. Even though she's crazy.
Right. But even without the ring, he beats the crap out of these guys.
And good.
Yeah.
And how?
But there's as soon as he gets home, there's a knock on his door.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he's been framed for robbing the bank.
Oh, Hal has.
Yeah,
Yeah.
while he was being mugged or sent a message.
Or those
Someone
mugs were
else-
sending him, oh, sorry, I was going to do some, like, creepy shit.
Someone else was breaking into his apartment and stashing the cash there.
Yeah.
And so the cops come in and they got an anonymous tip that there was $50,000 in his closet, and they find it and they haul him off to jail. Apparently, luckily, he's sent out he like charged his ring before all this happened, because while he's lying in bed or in his jail cell,
yeah.
he like sends out like a beam that like it like figures out where the money came from.
What?
Yeah.
I guess the ring can do anything, so...
Yeah.
As we've discussed.
Thank you, Sean.
And he finds out that it's Carol's new neighbor. Sorry, the estate was near Carol's estate.
Right.
And that's where he first saw her.
Uh-huh.
And he finds out it's the new neighbor, and he's hired all these muggers and this stuff. And so he sends out his beam directly to the guy, and like causes him to like
Poop his pants?
no, not this time.
Okay.
That's next month.
Oh, okay.
When
right.
One
Sean
written
and
by
I-
Sean Roof and
Yeah.
Spencer Vallis.
Um,
Penned by Nicholas.
Oh, my God.
And he causes the guy to, like, confess all of his crimes.
Yeah.
From his prison cell.
Yeah.
Just laying in the bunk. Just
Yeah.
kind of lazily, like, nah, go do it. And the guy comes in, he's like, I can't control myself. I stole the money. I'm the crook. I set up Hal Jordan. And so Hal's released. And he's extremely joyous in this last panel. Hands clasped in excitement.
Hal is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, yeah. So let's talk about the backup story.
Yeah.
It's very humorous. The story is called The End of a Gladiator, written by John Broome, penciled by Gil Kane, and inked by Sid Green. Now, this is the first part of, I think, the first two-parter in Green Lantern.
Oh, between issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. That we've read. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware. So, so that's a thing.
Yeah, so this we'll have this backup issue, and then we'll continue that in issue number 47.
Yes.
Right.
So.
Right. You did the title?
I did.
End of Gladiator? Okay, cool. So,
you were here for that.
I was. We start off with all the lanterns returning to Oa.
Yeah.
And the Guardians explaining to, all of the lanterns that a Green Lantern has perished.
Yeah.
And they enter like a
Rehab.
another room, and on the table lies Green Lantern of Earth. And immediately all of them are terribly sad because he's the Green Lantern of Green Lanterns, you know? He's
and
the
now
guy.
we're really establishing that. And it's
Right.
interesting because before Hal, not Tomar-Ray, he got it from, the ring from.
Oh, Evan Sur.
Evan Sur was like the Lantern of Lanterns.
Right.
Most celebrated.
Mhm.
And it's fitting that his successor would then become the most celebrated of Lanterns that there is. And this is, I think, really the issue that establishes that firmly.
Mhm.
Obviously, he's got the good friendships going with Katmatui and Tomar-Ray. But yeah, the reverence that the Lantern Corps have for Hal now, this is kind of new. So anyway.
Yeah. And so they carry them into kind of a new chamber, and the Guardians are just distraught, and they don't give a lot of information as to what happened. And so this was a little weird for me. The Tomar-Ray says they're leaving. The Guardians are too stricken to attend the last rites. So maybe the Lanterns have their own kind of funeral thing for them, or something. Yeah, but that's cool. At first, I read it like Catholicism last rites. So I'm like, how do they know about that? Tomar-Ray's an alien. Who cares about Catholicism?
Yeah, but don't the Guardians know about everything, don't they?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So they didn't know the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Why not?
All right, fine. And so
They probably know about Dianetics too.
Yeah.
well, everyone should.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Who do you think sent those aliens to Earth?
Elrond?
No.
Who? Oh, the Guardians?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Was
so
that them in Battlefield Earth?
Yes.
Travolta was a Guardian? Okay. Anyway, we need to go.
Right. So Tomar-Ray has an idea. He wants to find out what happened to Hal.
Yeah.
And so he goes to check Hal's ring. He finds out that it's totally empty. But there should have been a provision for, like him not dying.
The reserve power. It's
should have
supposed
been
to
there.
protect him.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so they recharge his ring, and the ring recounts the whole story.
Yeah.
Pieface and Hal are kind of running down the road.
Trying to loosen their load.
Yeah.
They got 7 women on their minds.
And I didn't notice it before, but there's a billboard on the side of the road that says Batman is here.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
never noticed that.
Yeah, I just right now I did. Yeah,
It's 1966. Think about it. Batman's
Oh.
blowing up.
yeah.
So
So Hal goes to charge. Like he's telling Pi a story about how he went to charge his ring and something weird happened, and the
he's
the
sharding.
power lantern started talking to him. Because Pi asked the question: if you run out of power every 24 hours, how does the power reserve work then?
Right.
And so Hal's like, I asked the same question. And so he asked his ring when he was powering it up.
Yeah.
And instead of the ring talking to him, the power battery did.
Cool.
Which is not something that happened before.
Well, the power batteries talked to him before. That's how. Yeah. Because the power battery said, "Hey, you need to go talk to the Guardians," and here they are in a projection or whatever. That's happened. Yes.
Okay.
I just
Because
gave you,
he's so
I'm so
surprised.
sorry. Just now I gave you the tone that I give Jeff when he's like forgetting something super obvious.
But it's just super, like, Hal is just very surprised that the power battery is talking to him and not the ring.
Right.
Great Guardians, the power battery, addressing thoughts to me. Yeah. So, anyways, the reason it gives is this: the ability to protect you rests in the reserve supply of power built into the power ring.
Yeah.
Every time you charge your ring, the reserve supply is replenished. But it cannot be used by you. It will only operate automatically by itself in periods of extreme peril. So there's a little difference here than what we've talked about it as. So it says an extreme peril. So
Yeah.
whether or not Hal is gonna be like killed, that's different. If he is needing to use that power, it'll automatically do it. Whatever his suggestion is. If he's not awake, it's just going to protect him from being harmed any further.
Oh, okay.
And so, if he's up and active, it's going to still kind of use his thoughts.
Oh.
Yeah. Is
Got
my
it.
understanding of what the power battery is.
No, I think that's pretty. I think that's right.
Okay. So there you have it, Pi.
There you have it, Pi.
Yeah.
Hi.
But all of a sudden, Pieface just disappears out of the car.
Word.
We have no idea where he went. Hal pulls over, changes the Green Lantern, and then it turns out that the Master of Magnetism.
Wait, is it Magneto?
That's what the editor's note says.
I know.
I
I'm
immediately thought that too. I
I'm
was like,
making
yeah.
a joke too, and they've clearly already established Magneto in Marvel Comics,
Right.
like in 1963, as Master of Magnetism. But anyway, Dr. Polaris, who is back with his snazzy new duds, his actual cool costume,
Mm-hmm.
because his original one was
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
kind of weird looking.
It was just lame.
He does it looks like maybe Prince Peril's outfit was influenced by this a little
You know,
bit with the horns and the big shoulders.
Here's what things I've noticed that Gil Kane likes a lot of. Like pointy, like Galactus-y kind of tuning fork things on helmets, and mohawks. These are things you'll see Gil
On, like,
Kane do
creatures that are
again and
fighting.
again. So, yeah.
So the interesting thing about Dr. Polaris is that he's kind of a split personality.
Yeah.
And the reason he's escaped jail is because he had a bout of good personality time. They're like, oh, he's fine. And they
Yeah.
let him out.
Remember his debut story. Instead of sending him to jail, they sent him for like observation. He
Right,
get, like
yeah.
to get help,
Mhm.
which was rather progressive.
Right.
But rather unusual, I should say.
And so the dark side of him has decided that he wants to learn the source of Green Lantern's power and sees all these pictures with Green Lantern and Pieface, and so he's like, oh, I'll just take that kid and have him tell me. And so he uses this massive machine to summon Pieface to his lab and pulls him out of the car. like reading his mind, he has Pieface has a picture of the power lantern. He realizes, or the power battery, and he's like,
That's what
there's
it's called.
Yeah, there's the thing that gives him all the power. I gotta steal it. And so instead of stealing it, he sends out this like weird beam that, or sends out magnetism that engulfs the power battery and doesn't actually charge the ring when Hal shows up.
So it's a thin layer of electromagnetic field or something.
Right.
So that when Hal tries to touch the ring to it to charge up, it doesn't actually touch it.
Right.
Right.
So he follows the magnetic force back to the lab, and he immediately starts fighting Dr. Polaris. But at the very he runs out of power because he didn't charge his ring. And so he decides to, in order to save Pieface, he has to use all of his will in the last split second to save Pie, and the emergency power backup is used, and Pie is saved, but then Dr. Polaris just nails him with his magnetism.
Yeah.
And that's how Jordan died.
Man.
Yeah.
I always figured it'd be like, he went insane from syphilis or something.
Or someone realized he's been
hit in the back of the head a million
right.
times. But anyway. So yes, that is what has happened.
Yep.
And so he's dead, and then we're back to the scene of Oa where all the lanterns are sad and crying.
Yep.
But wait!
Is this really the end of Green Lantern? See the follow-up story in the next issue for the amazing answer.
Here's the thing, there's a next issue, like, what? What can you imagine, like, they died and the next issue was just like, yeah, he's totally dead.
Like they did with Convergence in the Teen Titans book I was reading?
I don't know. Because I didn't read that.
Sorry.
But, what do you mean? Oh, because your Green Teen Titans book says, it's going to continue in Convergence, right?
No, they just stopped.
Yeah, things. I can't comment on that. I haven't read it.
I might pick up.
So, anyway, let's talk about Green Lantern number 47,
right.
which is the September of 1966 issue. The story in this issue is called Green Lantern Lives Again. Spoilers.
Right.
Written by John Broome, penciled by Gil Kane, and inked by Sid Green.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this issue, just this one, Jeff and I did on a show a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago. And it's another part of the plot is where, Hal goes to the future unknowingly, and he does that whole Paul Manning bit, and he's the director of something or other. That was my first encounter with that, and we were like, and I remember being like, what the hell? Not understanding that whole bit at all. But yeah, I've totally read this issue before, and I'm sure Jeff had some amusing or very bored comments to make about that issue.
Right, yeah. But I found it extremely exciting.
No, it is a great issue.
Yeah.
It's a mega classic. Yes.
Yeah. So we return to the slab they have Green Lantern on.
Great opening splash panel. Kat Matui is crying over Hal Jordan's body.
Yeah.
Kamar Ray's over there talking about how great he is.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
And so everyone's left except Kat Matui. And out of nowhere, Green Lantern disappears. He's gone.
Yeah, weird. Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan, yeah.
There's a bunch of Green Lanterns.
There are a bunch of Green Lanterns.
They all just disappear.
And we're immediately transported to the future.
Yeah.
And it turns out, in the future, that this crazy virus has taken, control of the city.
Man.
People are going down left and right. And it causes them to turn red, reddish.
Yeah.
And grow, devil horns.
On their foreheads.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
And then it also causes them to kind of, rage a little bit.
They're angry because they're so horny. No, that's crazy. Okay.
So, we can't talk about diarrhea, but you can talk about being horny. Okay.
I didn't. We talked about diarrhea at length. So don't give me this, we can't talk about diarrhea business.
So we can?
Oh my god. Just go.
I wonder with this virus if they got diarrhea.
I don't know.
I bet
Maybe
that
they're
was
so angry because they're constipated.
Oh, that was
And horny. That's a weird combination.
So Green Lantern with his power to cause diarrhea would be like a welcome sight.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I guess
Everyone's
it's not just
so
the
happy.
city; it's the world. The
Yeah.
world's been taken over kind of by this virus.
Which is pretty much.
Yeah, and so the council decides that they have to summon a hero from the past again. That man being Paul Manning, space explorer.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They bring Hal Jordan. And when he's in the future, because they summon him unknowingly, he doesn't have memories of having these adventures in the future.
Right.
They created this other identity for him.
Yeah.
That of Paul Manning.
Mhm.
And he's got the love interest in the future and stuff.
Yeah.
And I realized that she is Lana Lang for him.
Oh.
You know, like Carol is the Lois.
Uh-huh.
You know, only in these stories so far, there's no rivalry between the two.
Right.
So anyway,
Right. So the council is summoned, and everyone but like one guy is like, "Yeah, let's get him. Let's have him come save us again." And he's
Sorry,
like,
that's
"No,
just
this
funny.
guy's a jerk. We don't need him." And they're like,
one
"What?"
guy.
Yeah, one guy. And so the like head councilman like rips his wig off, and it's revealed that he has horns, and his face immediately becomes kind of demonic. And
Yeah.
he's like, "No! Oh, you caught me."
Dang it!
Oh, you saw my horns. I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah. So they drag him out of the chamber.
Cause me so poor nay. Oh, sorry.
And they summon Hal from the past using the time teleporter.
The time. Yeah, I love it.
Right.
Time teleporters.
Okay, so it's the council is called the Solar Council.
Right.
Because humans have like spread to the other planets and things like that.
And stuff.
Yeah.
So this is post Legion.
Oh.
Because the Legion is like the 30th century, and this is like way past that.
Oh, okay. So why would-
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I thought it was the 23rd.
This is the 23rd
I
century?
thought so.
I could be wrong, but I could have swore this was like way, way in the future.
Okay.
Anyway, I could be wrong.
Anyways, they summon him, but he's dead. So he's just laying there. And so they use their special space future tools and realize there's still a spark of life.
Reanimating teleporter.
Yeah. And they bring him back to life. And he's like, "Oh, I don't feel so well. I'll recover." And he does. And he flies around town and he fights some of the infected.
Yeah.
There was a name for him. I can't remember. Viros.
Yeah.
Viros. Because they're infected with a virus.
Yes. Oh, that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
Thanks.
So part 2 picks. I guess it's not really part 2. It's
I don't know why you designate these chapters like, you know, within an issue, because they really are just the part 2 part is just a change of scene or something.
right. Yeah.
Or to make it dramatic. It's like it's the same story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
But
anyway.
this one is not done that way.
No?
No. The previous page says story continues on the following page, and it just picks up.
Yeah. Okay.
I can see doing like part 1 and part 2 if there is an issue split,
Yeah.
but within an issue,
It's dumb, but DC does it so much, like a 3-part novel, and it's like you could just tell this totally linear. Like
right.
that doesn't add anything for me.
Yeah.
Like that you did that.
Green Lantern. They do that a lot with Green Lantern.
And it's not just Green Lantern. It's
No.
Silver Age DC,
Okay.
like almost across the board, in any book with recurring characters.
Gotcha.
So, but anyway, we open up with this great of this part with a great montage panel of Hal Jordan just kicking the crap out of these Viros.
No, it's not a montage. He
not?
uses his power ring to create 3 Green Lanterns.
I'm
And he
sorry.
fights them. Yeah.
You are right.
I
I forgot, and I just remembered that from when I read it before.
Yeah.
The first time.
And so because he got shot, I didn't mention that he got hit by their viral beams or whatever.
Viro beams, yeah.
Virus teleporters.
And he fights the Viros, and there's a
Yeah.
super Viro that he fights.
Well, not yet. He captures all of the Viros
Yeah.
except for one, and then power blasts him in the head to read his mind,
Yeah.
which obviously he's going to get brain cancer.
And diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Oh my god.
And then we find out about the Super Viro. And Hal's like, alright, I'm going to go fight them. And so...
So he does fight him.
He has to fight him, but the Super Viro isn't totally prepared yet. And
Okay.
so he has to stop him before he becomes 100% effective, or
Okay.
he will just wipe out the whole planet with
Right.
the virus. And he's at 90% when Hal Jordan shows up. And so there's a pretty big fight happening.
Yeah, and the fight goes on for several pages,
Yeah.
and then Hal beats him, but then Hal gets infected.
Yeah.
And he uses his own willpower in the ring to force the virus out of his body, and then you can see it as a big old germ.
Yeah.
And so these big germ globules are flying around.
Yeah. And he pulls it out of everyone. And then
Yeah.
the germ things fight him. They attack him.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And he superheats the environment around him, and it kills them all because the virus can't withstand the heat. And so at the end of the day, he shows up with, or he goes back to Iona, the
the
future love interest, and they share a moment, and then he's gone. In her arms.
Yeah, he fades away. And so he's back on Oa,
Mm-hmm.
and Kat Matui's there, and he's alive, and she's surprised.
Yeah, because he wasn't there for less. It was like a flash.
Right.
She just to her it seemed like she just missaw something.
Right. But he gets up, and he's got to go back to Earth because he remembered, oh yeah, I got to fight Dr. Polaris.
Yeah, he's got to
and
take
save
out
Pie Face.
Yeah. He's not worried about charging his ring at all, though. I guess if you jump up and your ring lets you fly, you're not going to worry about it. But
he does mention that he stopped by and charged it up all the way.
oh, he does.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's panel 2, the next page, panel 2.
Oh, right. He charged it at the main power battery.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So.
So he fights Dr. Polaris. It's a pretty good fight. They he gets engulfed with magnetism. But he it's pulling him down, but he reverses the polarity. And,
like Doctor Who.
Yeah. And launches himself at Dr. Polaris.
Yeah.
And just totally destroys all of his machines.
And there was a bunch of electrical currents and stuff in there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, he beats Dr. Polaris, and then he uses the ring somehow to revive and save Pie Face.
Yeah.
So and then he explains to Pie how he was able to beat Polaris. Polaris, a little bit of his good personality shone through, and he didn't use a lethal dosage of electricity.
Right. Yeah.
So. So that's interesting. So there's a little bit of self-defeating stuff with Dr. Polaris.
Yeah. But
he's a great villain.
The very end.
Yeah.
Pie's looking at Hal, and on Hal's shirt is a little speck, and
it's a jewel.
It's a jewel, and we find out that Iona was wearing a necklace.
Yeah.
And the jewel fell out of the necklace.
Yeah. And so Hal doesn't remember any of this stuff in the future as Paul Bunning. And so he has now a collection in a little cigar box or something of mementos that he can't place.
Right.
He doesn't know where they're from. So I have no idea if there's resolution to this later.
Mm-hmm.
I feel because when they started doing all those stories with Hal's brothers, and where the girlfriend or the wife now keeps thinking the dude is
Jim is
is Green Lantern, and he's like, I'm not. I didn't know how long that was going to go on, but that's obviously a thing that's going to go on forever. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a resolution to this.
I really hope so.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. These going to the future stories are kind of interesting. So, and yeah, we got the return of Dr. Polaris too.
Yeah, we did.
So, I don't know. I don't know about you, but I think that's about it for the show today.
Yeah. So remember to rate and review us on iTunes.
Yes.
Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Join us back next week where we will continue our discussion of
Supervillain Team Up Volume 1,
Yeah.
the only volume. Yay.
Yeah.